My name is Christopher Ng. I've been at Reason for 2 years, coming up on July, so that's next month. So I grew up here in the San Gabriel Valley, all my life here in El Monte, just down the street. Normal childhood, kind of just born in the suburbs, went through the whole elementary, middle, high school. Long time. I did go to Royal, yeah. Shout out to my Knights. But yeah, pretty normal childhood, but I did kind of pick up for some, niche hobbies along the way. So I got really into animals, specifically reptiles. Growing up, I got really into animals, and that kind of consumed a lot of my life growing up. And then for some reason I pivoted and decided electrical engineering was the job, was the major. So that's what I do professionally outside of here. Those are kind of two of the main things. I love food, love traveling. It's kind of where I grew up and where I came from. Yeah.
I did not know you were electrical.
Oh, well, you know now.
So what do you do for work?
I work in the electrical power industry, so different sectors of it within like renewables, power distribution. We work anything tied to the grid, anything, the built environment basically, we work to power that. And so I kind of worked in different industries and different sectors of that.
What initially motivated you to start at Reason?
Yeah, so about like 2019, working out was kind of becoming a thing, and lifting weights was kind of being, I think it was big on social media, right? And you just start to compare yourself with others. And so I kind of was driven to start, right? And the first thing I did was I joined a local 24-hour fitness. It was like a cheaper membership that I got through work. And I was just kind of doing online programs the best I could. And then at the top, 2019 led into 2020. So I was only able to do that for 3 or 4 months before we had all the shutdowns. And so during the shutdowns, I searched a little bit, took a little break, of course, but searched a little bit for another gym setup. And I found another gym where I signed up, and they had 24-hour access, so it was easy to come in and out, but it was also kind of like non-committal in that sense, right? Oh, I can go tomorrow, I can go whenever I want. And so that turns into like, I'll go tomorrow, I'll go next week. And so I kind of like lost my track with that. And so the coaches there, I worked with a trainer there actually, and the trainer, at the time I said, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about this thing called CrossFit for a long time, since even before I started, but I heard all these things about it, all the myths that we have to fight, and the stereotypes and whatnot that we have to feel doing CrossFit, and that kind of steered me away from it for a while. But I said, what do you think? And he said, you're looking for that kind of thing, that kind of community, sort of, camaraderie, sort of comfortable, like fun environment where you can, get very constantly, very training. CrossFit is fun. He recommended it. So, by fate, I guess, the AI heard me, or my phone heard me, and started popping up the little ads for Reason. That's right, it actually worked. And it was 2 a.m. and I was holding my phone up like this. And I signed up for a consult. The consult, I thought I was gonna come in here, get a little general tour, and I thought it was just gonna be an hour or 30 minutes of like a trainer or some front desk person just selling me a membership. And it was not like that at all. It was very in-depth and personal. I really felt like it was almost like a therapy session in a lot of senses, finding myself and what was my reason for coming in, walking through that door. And I thought it was really like such a change up from anything I'd ever done. And so, from that day on, I just never looked back. I was just like, this is a place. Like, I was just over the moon about it when I told all my friends and my family. And so, that's kind of how I came to find Reason. What made me want to start taking care of myself better and exercising? Honestly, when I came in, it was a lot of like, I've just fallen tropes to a lot of those negative thoughts that we kind of suffer from as a society, with like the stigma, like body stigma and, body dysmorphia. And I want to look a certain way for the summer, for this event. And just thinking very like, I want to get lean and toned and things like that. And I would slip in a lot of those words. And like over time, I kind of, adjusted and said, I really like when I came in, I wasn't expecting this thing to be so fun. I wasn't expecting it to like just draw me in and suck me in and just like keep me coming back. Like I wake up early for it. I'll leave something early to come here, and I'll always try to find a way to fit it in because it's just so much fun. And that's what kept me staying. And now it's like whenever I see my body, I hardly ever notice like the changes over time because I'm not constantly checking for them and I'm not monitoring them anymore. I'm just thinking about like, how can I improve as an athlete? How can I improve as a member of our community and like be there for people around us? And just like, what are the things that I can learn to be better as a member and to better my CrossFit? I'm not really even constantly thinking about like the way I look and how I I'm thinking about how I feel, how I eat, how my energy levels are. And so I think that's been really healthy for me in terms of, staying consistent. I would say I just found new goals too, right? I started taking care of myself better, and I'm very conscientious now about like, I'm not saying that I don't eat because like I don't want to eat or something, but I'm eating thoughtfully because like, how will it make me feel for the rest of the day? How will it make me feel in terms of the goals I'm working towards? And I'm always like, there's fun to be had, there's life to be lived. And so, when it comes to how I leverage that and the gym, I have a much more like healthy approach. When I came into this gym, it was like, once I start this thing, I really have to dread cutting out all my favorite food. I have to, shave off all this fat. I want to like be a certain weight. I want to look a certain way. And now it's like, I just removed a lot of those things that confine me and like, I understand my strengths and I understand my weaknesses, and I work at both, I work to improve my strengths and I work to improve my weaknesses. Instead of just saying like, oh, I'm dreading that thing that I'm so weak at. I'm dreading that, but I really love this thing that I'm strong at. I'm dreading having to eat, healthy food or, something that is a little bit more fun. I don't see anything as bad anymore. I see it as fuel, right? And so I think a lot of like my mindset has changed. I owe that a lot to the coaches I've worked with here, and just talking it out with members and stuff like that. This is maybe kind of silly, but the first time I got invited out to a group outing with the members here, the reason I say that is significant for me is because coming into here, I had such I was social enough, but I had like a lower self-esteem in terms of how I fit in with other people who were athletic, right? Have been doing this for years. And my first impression was like, the fit, quote unquote, fit people, right? Hang out amongst each other, and then those sort of beginner level people hang out amongst each other. And that was the vibe that I got. And I think that was more of a self monologue, right? That I ousted myself from the rest of them. And so when I became when I got invited out to just a simple dinner, I was like, whoa, okay, maybe that's pretty cool. Sure, I'll do it. And I was really honestly kind of nervous. What did I talk to all these fit people about? I'm over here struggling to just make it to the end of each class, a 9-minute workout, and I'm on the floor, and everyone was very, welcoming, got to know me. Nobody treated me differently. And I think that went into that with this level of I'm scared that there's gonna be some layer of judgment. And I left it just so much closer to 15 other people, and I was just so I think that was the first time and one of the more significant times where I really felt this community is no other that I've ever been a part of, and could never really even dream of, really. Being part of Reason has definitely impacted my life beyond fitness, I think a lot of people from outside looking in, they see this as exercise, they see this as pushing yourself to the limits or things like that. When I come in here, I come into pretty much a second home. Not for relaxing all the time, but I think that, I come here and it's very comfortable. I have just developed a big mindset change over it. The way I approach almost everything in life has changed, and I want to say positively, right? The way I see food, the way I see connections, the way I see things like I appreciate coaching and quality coaching so much. I appreciate quality safety measures and the thoughtfulness of when a member is not feeling great, and like how can we adapt this sport to fit them and to include everybody no matter what they're going through. And so I really just like a lot of these things I've kind of like taken up space in my head over time, and I've just like taken a great interest in that. But just outside of fitness too, like in my outside life, I am able to kind of recognize the difference between those like negative sort of like thoughts that I kind of harbored growing up. And then as well as the greater community, right? Like social media is really, really crazy sometimes in the sense that a lot of these sort of, to me, they're not like the best mindsets of to push, and they may work for other people, but for me, I just was like, those are not the things that were working for me personally, like that were motivating me to be better at fitness, motivating me to eat better, or things like that. They actually made me feel worse. And I think that's really prevalent, and to be able to like identify those things, no matter if they, one thing we say here is, like find what moves you, right? And what serves you. And I think I've just, try to find that in everything now, right? Like what serves me in this and what doesn't serve me. Like why would I spend all this extra time and effort worrying about something that's out of my control when I can be, working on something that I have control in. And then in terms of just, outside of fitness, the community is just, it's amazing. I hang out with these guys like every like waking second outside of this gym. We're planning things all the time together. We're always constantly hanging out. We're constantly chatting. And it's just really like we're a tight-knit community, and I don't think that we would have been this way, like just fake, just out of exercising. I think just there's this organic growth of community in this gym, and so it's definitely impacted me in that way too. I feel like I've found a group where I can be my weird self. That weird, right? Like I love animals and snakes and lizards, and I've always kind of felt outcasted for things that I liked, but I found something where I felt like I'm one with, Yeah, absolutely. I think I tackle adversity different now because, I think I always tell this to other members too, and I think like a lot of us are selling ourselves short in like the things that we're able to do, and the things that we come in and consistently do every day are like amazing. No matter how we felt that day or what we see, or what we think of ourselves and things like that. It is like absolutely incredible what everybody here does. And I think it took me a long time to really personalize that and realize that. And when I realized that like I'm able to do all these hard workouts and recover from them, sometimes that's the hardest part, and eat and prepare for them. And like, I think it's just, fitness has really helped me, Reason has really helped me in like the sense that, I see these things as all doable, and there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, even for those. And that was that's from Beth actually, that she said when you think you're stuck in a workout or something, just look light at the end of the tunnel. And I really like see that for different parts of my, the things that I've gone through. And I also of course like you get the drive and the rush of exercising, and you get to see everybody, and people know, like here, people understand when you're going through a tough time or things like that. And instead of just treating you differently or just like, letting you be sad in the corner, everybody is supporting you, however that looks like, right? It's not like they're always in your face, like, oh, is everything okay? But they're supporting you when you need space, they give you space. When you need company, they give you company. And best of all, it's just like, we're still, I'm still being able to, kind of work towards my goals. And, Coach Drew always says things like, you're not really falling off the tracks. This life is one big track. And so as long as you just keep, we keep trekking along, you're not really falling on or off. And so that's kind of the way I see it, right? When I'm going through something, it's still part of this big track that is life. And I think it's really, really, really helped me in terms of like fighting adversity and dealing with loss and just tough times in my life, especially like, soul searching with jobs and, the pandemic and stuff like that. Definitely thank you for believing in me. Thank you for, helping me become a member of this community in and outside of the gym, right? Just a better person in general, healthier mindset, and always, constantly keeping me accountable, pushing me, but knowing when I have, I need to listen and respond to other parts of my life. And, I'm constantly quoting you guys all the time. Every single one of the coaches that I've met here has made some sort of like impact in my life directly. And I see everybody as, very inspirational. Just beyond your fitness, just wisdom. And every day I just strive to be a lot more like each and every one of them in some way, and maybe all the ways, So just thank you, yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. Because I definitely, like you were saying, speaking on the confidence part, that's something I still work on, of course, but like I think we're all working on that. But I've come a long way from it since. And finding myself in this gym and consistently showing up and doing these hard things, like really gave me a different confidence. And I couldn't really do that without coaching and, them keeping me safe and them keeping me feeling fresh and things like that. So I'm Christopher Ng, and I am a Reason athlete.